In theory, test-driven development sounds great. Your code is tested from day one, and you catch bugs the moment you refactor. I committed to it for a month. At first, I liked it, but by the end, I hated it. Here's what went wrong, and what I do instead. Let's start with the theory. TDD says write your tests before you write your code. Then write your code to make all the tests pass, and refactor from there, ensuring all your tests stay green. I'm sure that in a well-defined project where you know exactly what you're building, it might work fine. But in the real world, things change quite a bit, and that's where the problems begin. Let's go for the big problems that cause TDD not to work for me. Number 1. Projects change, requirements shift, even the way I structure the code often changes while I'm writing it as I have new ideas. Those lovely tests that I wrote at the start, by the end, most of them were irrelevant or wrong. I spent more time rewriting tests than writing new features. Number 2. Code starts to serve tests instead of the actual problem. I found myself designing interfaces and code that matched the way my tests were written, not ones that made the solution elegant or sensible. That's backwards. The code should solve the problem first, not just tick a box. Number 3. I wrote tests that wouldn't really catch bugs. They just validated my understanding of the problem. Just basically repeated exactly what the code did. No edge cases, no real value. There were just so many test cases that were a waste of time, not to mention extra maintenance in the long term. Next, I'll go over how I test my code, and after that I'll show you how to implement your own test cases in Python. As I write my code, every few lines I'll run the code and make sure it's giving me exactly what I want. Python makes this really easy and lets me iterate quickly. My first draft of the code is often in line, making sure it does what I intended. Once I get it working, I'll refactor it into proper functions or classes as needed. Start writing your code first and let the structure evolve as the code does. Trying to plan out your code in advance is just going to waste time. Don't test every tiny function, just the parts that are complex or used in a lot of different places. If something's trivial or obvious, I don't waste time covering it in unit tests. For instance, code that adds tax to a number. This is often simple maths and so isn't likely to go wrong. If I've just spent hours, days, or in one rare case over a week debugging a nightmare issue, I'll absolutely add a test to protect against it. In that case, the reason it took so long is printing debug notes slowed the code just enough to remove a race condition and make it work. I don't think I've ever been more frustrated. I actually contemplated after day 3 just leaving a tiny sleep in the code. Those were dark days indeed. In these cases, it's important to comment the test as to why you added it. This will help you and others maintain their sanity and save time later. When I optimize code, I'm not trying to change the output, just make it faster and more scalable. For this kind of work, I store the output of the original version, then compare the new version's output to it. If the outputs match, I know I haven't broken anything. I've just made it faster. Okay, let's write a couple of unit tests against the tic-tac-toe game we made in a previous video. So if we just open the board class, and I'm going to go to the move function, it runs whenever we or the AI make a move to the board to ensure we placed our marker into a valid empty cell. If the move is valid, then placed will be set to true, otherwise it'll be set to false and then returned. So to start off with our tests, I'm going to go into the root directory of the project and I'm going to create a folder called tests. This will help us keep all of our tests organised. And then in here I'm going to create a file called testboard. And then we're going to import the Python package unittest, which is part of the standard library. And then we'll import our board from tic-tac-toe, so from tic-tac-toe.board, import board. And then we're going to create a class called class testboardMove, and that is going to inherit from unittest.testCase. And then in here we're going to add 2 tests. The first one will simply test if we can make a valid move. The second one I'm going to write will test that we can't overwrite a cell. Do note you'll see a lot of autocomplete. I've actually installed the latest version of PyCharm and I'm currently running a trial on the AI tools and Pro. My first impressions of the AI tools is they just get in the way. Okay, so our first test function is going to be test valid move. So we're going to create a copy of our blank board, so board equals board, and then we're going to make a move and put it into result. So into the first cell, let's put an X into result. And then the way tests work is we assert that certain things happen. So the first one is going to be assert true, which is part of the class, so self.assertTrue result. This will make sure that result is true. If it isn't, the test will fail. And then we're going to check that the first cell of the board has an X in it. So we do self.assert equal, and then board cell 0, and then X. Basically, just make sure that cell 0 equals x. If it doesn't, the assertion will fail and therefore the test will fail. For our second test, we're just going to make sure we can't overwrite a cell that's already populated. So, new test function, test no overwrite cell, and then we're going to copy most of the code from the test valid move, and we're just going to add 2 lines to the bottom. Result equals board.move position 1 player marker 0, or O, and then self.assert false result. And then in PyCharm, we're going to right click on the test folder and scroll down to run Python tests in test. And you'll see you get this little result pane with all of these little green ticks for every test that passed. Now let's say I go back and refactor move, and I inadvertently make placed always equal true. Because we assert false in test no overwrite cell, this will now start failing. And you'll see that we don't have green ticks next to everything now, we have a yellow X. Okay, let's put that code back to normal. The PyCharm Pro version does have a really cool feature called test case coverage. To run this, simply click on the 3 dots at the top right of the screen, and we're going to do run Python tests in tests with coverage. You'll see now that this coverage pane has appeared. The same numbers are also reflected in the Project Explorer to the left, and this is actually telling you what percentage of the file's lines are covered by your test cases. And you can see now in the files themselves, they have this special border which is either green or red. Green says that your line is covered by your test cases, red says no tests actually cover this. As a general rule, I tend not to take coverage more than 75% just because of the diminishing returns you get as you try to cover every last bit. In summary, test-driven development might work for some workflows, maybe where the feature is dead simple and well defined. But I, and probably you too, just don't usually work on these kinds of projects. And frankly, who wants to? That's why test-driven development just doesn't work for me. Let me know if you've had a different experience. In the next video, we'll look at how to make your Python code more reusable with packing and unpacking. I just don't see enough developers using this feature, and it's incredibly powerful. You'll find that video top left right now. And with that, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.